So if the ancient Greeks were before the Romans, and the Romans were after the Greeks, when was the Greco-Roman period? Oh, hi. Hi there. I'm Professor Z. I was just brushing up on my history. Welcome to Exploration Psychology. In this episode, we're going to learn a little bit about the history of psychology. We're also going to talk about some of the definitions of psychology and how it's changed over the course of time. So make sure you take notes and pay special attention. Are you ready to learn about the history of psychology? Are you ready to learn about the history of psychology? Reminds me of my old history professor. Enjoy the video. Our story of psychology actually begins in ancient Greece. Ancient Greek philosophers such as Socrates, Aristotle, and Plato were perhaps the first individuals to contemplate the inner workings of the mind through philosophy. Thus, psychology has its roots in philosophy. In fact, the word psychology comes from Greek roots. More specifically, psychology basically means study of the mind or soul. Our story continues in the late 1800s, 1879 to be more specific, where the German psychologist Wilhelm Wundt established the first psychology lab. Psychology then became the scientific study of the mind. In other words, perhaps for the very first time, the discovery of human behavior was studied in a laboratory using the scientific method. For example, in one of Wundt's earliest experiments, he used a contraption called a thought meter, pictured here. Essentially, it is a modified clock in which the pendulum would swing back and forth to strike metal balls. Using introspection and an analysis of their sensations, the subject would be asked to report when they heard the sound. He found that our experience is often delayed slightly. In other words, what we hear is not always in real time, even though it appears to be so. Thus, psychology, in the birth of these psychological experiments in the laboratory, became the scientific study of the mind. The next chapter in our story takes place in 1913, when the very famous John B. Watson writes his book, Psychology as Behavior. John B. Watson, of course, is considered to be the founder of American behaviorism. So rather than focusing on sensation, as our earlier psychologists did, the focus became more on behavior, and thus psychology shifted. The behaviorists became more interested in how changes in the environment alter behavior. As Watson put it, the goal of behaviorism is the prediction and control of behavior. Psychologists of this time began studying animals to unlock the secrets of behavior. However, they soon found out that animal behavior was more complicated than originally thought. So as you can see, the definition of psychology has changed throughout the course of history. Today, we define psychology a lot different. The current definition of psychology is the systematic study of behavior and experience. I want you to think for a moment what that actually means. That would cover things like dreaming, the human sexual experience, mental illness, and much, much more. So as you can see, the scope of psychology is much more broad and diverse. That will wrap up our video. Come on, Mrs. Stone, let's go get you a makeover. Thanks for watching.